You think you're seeing what's really there, your messy desk, your anxious coworker, that traffic jam making you late. But what if I told you every single thing you see is being filtered through a lens you didn't know you were wearing? This lesson teaches that we cannot see anything, objects, people, situations, separately from our source, which is love itself. Everything we perceive is actually being interpreted through a divine lens of connection rather than the ego's lens of separation. And when we recognize this, our entire experience of reality shifts from fear-based to love-based. Think about the last time you felt irritated by someone. Really picture it. Sarah is in the break room when her colleague Mark starts complaining loudly about the new project deadlines, his voice getting more agitated with each word. Her jaw tightens automatically. Here we go again with Mark's negativity ruining everyone's day. She feels that familiar knot in her stomach, the one that says, "I just wanted 5 minutes of peace." Her mind is already building the case. Mark is selfish. Mark is draining. Mark is the problem. But here's what Sarah doesn't realize in that moment. She's not actually seeing Mark. She's seeing her interpretation of Mark, filtered through a lens she doesn't even know she's wearing. It's like she's been wearing tinted glasses her entire life without knowing it. Everything appears a certain color, and she assumes that's just how the world looks. We all do this. Every single one of us. We walk around thinking we're seeing reality, but we're actually watching a movie that our mind is projecting onto everyone and everything. That difficult boss, that's your mind's projection. That stressful deadline, your mind again. Even that beautiful sunset, yes, even that, is being interpreted through your particular lens. This isn't some abstract spiritual concept. It's happening right now as you listen to this. Your mind is taking these words and filtering them through everything you believe about yourself, about learning, about what's possible for you. You're not hearing what I'm saying, you're hearing what your mind thinks I'm saying. Let's go back to Sarah. As she stands there, jaw tight, watching Mark complain, something shifts. It's subtle at first. Instead of seeing Mark the complainer disrupting her peace, she suddenly sees something else. She sees someone struggling with overwhelm. She notices the way his shoulders are hunched, the strain around his eyes. And in that moment, her irritation dissolves into something unexpectedly gentle. Nothing about Mark changed. Not a single thing. But everything about her seeing did. Here's the radical part. You cannot see anything separately from your source. And your source, whether you call it love, God, universe, or simply your highest self, sees only connection where you've been seeing separation. It sees only wholeness where you've been seeing brokenness. It sees only innocence where you've been seeing guilt. Imagine those tinted glasses again. You've been wearing the ego's glasses, which tint everything with separation, fear, and judgment. But there's another pair available, one that shows you what's really there. Not a different world, but the same world seen differently. Through this lens, that annoying coworker becomes a mirror showing you where you're still believing in separation. That stressful situation becomes a classroom teaching you how to choose peace. That overwhelming day becomes an invitation to remember what you really are. When Sarah saw Mark differently, she wasn't being naive or spiritual or forcing positivity. She was simply taking off one pair of glasses and putting on another. The ego's lens showed her an enemy disrupting her peace. Love's lens showed her a brother asking for connection. This is the choice we face in every moment of every day. Which lens are we looking through? When you're stuck in traffic, are you seeing through the lens that says, "This is stealing my time," or the lens that says, "This is giving me time to breathe"? When your partner forgets something important, are you seeing betrayal, or are you seeing a human being doing their best? The mind resists this. It says, "But traffic is frustrating. Mark is negative." These are facts, but they're not facts, they're interpretations. And every interpretation is a choice, whether we're conscious of it or not. Sarah discovered something that day in the break room, when she stopped trying to see things objectively and recognized that love is the source of her perception. Something beautiful happened. She found herself asking Mark if he was okay, not from obligation, but from genuine care. And Mark, feeling seen for the first time in weeks, actually softened. His complaints turned into a real conversation about feeling overwhelmed. Their 5 minutes in the break room became a moment of actual connection. This is what happens when we remember that we cannot see apart from our source. We stop fighting what we see and start choosing how we see. We stop trying to fix the world out there and start cleaning the lens in here. We discover that every person, every situation, every moment is an opportunity to choose between the ego's lens of separation and love's lens of connection. The relief of this is extraordinary. You don't have to change anyone. You don't have to fix anything. You just have to be willing to see differently, to recognize that what you've been calling reality is actually just one interpretation, and there's another one available, one that doesn't hurt, doesn't separate, doesn't condemn. Think about someone who bothers you right now. Picture them clearly. Notice all the judgments, the story your mind tells about who they are and why they're difficult. Now, just for a moment, consider, what if I'm not seeing them at all? What if I'm seeing my thoughts about them projected onto them? What if, underneath all my projections, there's something else entirely, something my current lens can't show me? This is the beginning of freedom, not the freedom to escape difficult people or situations, but the freedom to see them differently. To recognize that love, your true source, is offering you a different lens in every moment. One that transforms enemies into teachers, problems into opportunities, and separation into connection. The world didn't change when Sarah saw Mark differently. The world never changes, but her seeing did. And when your seeing changes, everything changes with it. That difficult person becomes a mirror. That stressful situation becomes a classroom. And that overwhelming day, it becomes an invitation to remember that you're not seeing with your eyes alone. You're seeing with something much deeper, something that's been waiting patiently for you to remember it's there. If you'd like more teachings and guided practices like this, you can like the video and subscribe. And now, we'll move into a short guided meditation. Let's find a comfortable position. Your body knows how to rest. Trust it. Allow your breath to flow naturally. No need to control it. Just notice it arriving and leaving on its own. Gently bring to mind someone or something that has bothered you recently. Not the worst thing, just something that created tension. Hold it lightly. Notice the story your mind tells about this situation. the judgments, the certainty. Feel where this story lives in your body, maybe tension in your chest, maybe tightness in your jaw. Now, very gently, consider, what if I'm not seeing what I think I'm seeing? What if I'm seeing through a lens? You don't have to believe it, just hold the possibility. Imagine you could set down those tinted glasses for just a moment. Not forever. Just for now. Feel the relief of not having to be right, of not having to defend your view, of not having to fix or change anything. In this space, notice what else might be here. Maybe a flicker of understanding, maybe a softness you didn't expect. Maybe just more space to breathe. This is what it feels like to rest in your true source, where seeing happens without judgment, where everything is already connected, where nothing needs to be fixed because nothing was ever truly broken. Stay here as long as you like. When you're ready, take a deep breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes. You can return to this way of seeing anytime. It's always available. It's who you really are. Thank you for being here and practicing together. If you'd like, you can find a free digital ACIM resource in the description. And if you want to mark the moment, a simple comment such as, "I am grateful," is welcome. Thank you for spending this time with us today. As you move through your day, you might notice moments where you can feel which lens you're looking through. Be gentle with yourself when you notice. The simple act of noticing is already a shift. Until next time, remember, you're not seeing with your eyes alone.